There's so much misinformation on this, on HRT, and even amongst my friends, they don't know what to do because there is a general belief it's bad for you. You shouldn't do it. And then there are other women who say, well, I don't have hot flashes, et cetera, so I'm not going to do it. And what I glean from your panel and your book for that matter is there are other reasons. It's not going to cause breast cancer and in these numbers that we were told in 2002. It's a very, very minimal risk. And secondly, it's got a lot of really good benefits.
Well, that's right. Look, women have been confused for good reason. The medical establishment they're not even all on the same page. And the misunderstanding around the studies has created a lot of dogma that you should not take hormone replacement therapy because of an increased risk of dying of breast cancer. Now, it turns out when you look under the hood, no clinical trial has ever shown that hormone replacement therapy for perimenopausal women increases the likelihood of dying of breast cancer. Now, there are importantly two different areas of benefit, and I should just point out there are contraindications. Some women cannot take hormone replacement therapy, but the vast majority of women going through perimenopause can have not only short-term benefits, but long-term health benefits. And often when people talk about how it alleviates hot flashes and night sweats and helps with mood swings and better sleep quality and helps prevent some of the weight gain associated with perimenopause. They're really only talking about the short-term benefits. Now, I'm not here to say they're more important or less important than the long-term health benefits. I'm not a woman. But look at the studies on the long-term health benefits, cutting the risk of heart attacks in half in some studies, or 25 to 50% reduction in other studies. That's the number one cause of death in women. And it may prevent Alzheimer's, reduces the risk of cognitive decline by up to 64%, reduces osteoporosis risk and the risk of bone fractures, cutting that risk in half. Those are some of the serious long-term risks that can take the life of an older woman, is risks of bone fractures and hip fractures. So there may be no other medication in the history of modern medicine that can improve the health outcomes of women on a population level than hormone replacement therapy when started within 10 years from the onset of perimenopause. Maybe with some rare exceptions. I might cite antibiotics as one of those exceptions, but the incredible health benefits of hormone replacement therapy described by the experts at the FDA expert panel just recently have been in the bucket of things in modern medicine that have been underappreciated, underrecognized, and underfunded, probably because it deals with women's health, and that it is something that needs to come to the surface. Every woman needs to know about the real data on this topic and not follow dogma for dogma's sake.
The thing that's great about, preventing dementia, everybody wants to prevent Alzheimer's or dementia. But the thing about HRT too is it's estrogen and progesterone. And progesterone helps you sleep better in the short term, even, which if you have terrible sleep, we've talked about this with a number of experts, that actually increases your risk of getting some form of dementia. So it's got like double protection there where you start to get better sleep immediately. And then long term, it can have, I guess, maybe for other reasons, the effect of helping prevent some forms of dementia.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how the importance of good quality sleep is now being recognized as a central component to so many aspects of health. And poor sleep may help drive some of these chronic diseases, including dementia and perhaps even Alzheimer's in some studies, including one study I was a part of at Johns Hopkins in my previous career. So we're learning more and more that good quality sleep, a healthy microbiome, and what we eat is so central to health. We have had a healthcare system, Megyn, entirely focused on drugs and operations. And we've got to ask, why is Alzheimer's going up every year? It's not just because we have older people in America, as I was taught in medical school. We have early onset Alzheimer's that has tripled in the last few decades. What's going on here? 2/3 of the cases are in women. What's going on here? It turns out there may be an association with the hormonal axis. When a woman takes estrogen, starting around the time of perimenopause, that risk of Alzheimer's goes down by up to 35% in some studies. So I'm not Look, I'm not in the business of being someone's teledoctor or telling them what to do. But the data on this area of medicine has been so massively misunderstood and misrepresented. And you saw the fear machine come out 23 years ago talking about, such a sensitive topic like breast cancer to women, demonizing hormone replacement therapy. People need to know the facts, and one place to help get good information, in my opinion, is the FDA expert panel that's available online for women to watch.
Yes. So you talked about this when you came on before your new job. And in your book, you get into this about how all the misinformation was rooted in this 2002 study called the Women's Health Initiative. The lead author was Dr. Jacques Rousseau. And you, when writing your book, went to him to say, I've looked at your information. I don't see the correlation between what you said was HRT and breast cancer. Because he came out in the middle of doing that Women's Health Initiative and said, the risk is so high for breast cancer from HRT. We need to stop the study right now. We need to stop doing this to women. And women all across America said, I'm out, and threw away their hormones, the estrogen and the progesterone. But you actually went to him and found got some remarkable admissions.
Well, the most amazing thing, Megyn, was that he acknowledged to me that the little tiny bump in breast cancer cases that they observed in the study was not statistically significant. You have to run statistics in these large trials to know whether or not something is a random occurrence, whether or not it's noise in the data, or whether or not it's a true association. If you don't run statistics, then we don't have science. All of a sudden, snake oil works and cures cancer, and we don't have science anymore. So he actually acknowledged to me that the observation of breast cancer in one of the looks of the data was not a statistically significant finding. And by the way, subsequent studies have found no statistically significant increase in dying of breast cancer. So what does that tell you? It is amazing. It really is amazing, because when that announcement hit, and he feels that the media got ahead of his results when I had talked to him, but when those headlines hit that hormone therapy causes breast cancer, man, women flushed their pills down the toilet. Doctors were calling and scaring all the patients in their practice, saying, get off of this. There's been new data. And honestly, I don't even know if some of them had actually read the numbers in the study and noticed that there was no statistical significance.
So this is from your book. It's amazing. You write, I asked Dr. Rousseau point blank, was the breast cancer link in his study statistically significant? He answered, quote, it touched on significance, but wasn't quite significant. It was nominally significant. It was not significant after being adjusted for multiple looks at the data. What? And based on this, people ran for the hills. And I know this is personal for you because you feel like your own mom could have benefited from this, but didn't.
Look, my mom is one of the 50 million women over the last 23 years never offered hormone replacement therapy or the many potential health benefits associated with it because of this study. And it became dogma in the medical field. And man, they pounded this message into primary care doctors and doctors all over the medical field. It just became this dogma that it causes breast cancer. Therefore, don't prescribe it. And by the way, medical schools never even taught about menopause, because why teach about all the symptoms of menopause if there's nothing you can do to treat them? So you don't even need to teach about menopause. So we got almost no education on menopause. There was this dogma. But my mom was one of the 50 plus million women never offered it. She should have been offered it. She would have been a great candidate. And, HRT reduces the chance that you're going to break a bone if you're in a car accident, or if an 80-year-old woman falls later in life. There's like a 50% increase. The risk of breaking a bone is cut in half if you're on hormone therapy. Well, my mom broke her bones twice in two different falls. In one of them, I remember showing the x-ray to an orthopedic surgeon friend of mine, and I said, does she really need surgery with screws and pins? And this, my mom is not, you put an older woman through something like that, it sets them back. It's debilitating. They're non-ambulatory, and sometimes that sets up older Americans for a cascade of events that can result in their demise. So I didn't want to see her non-ambulatory. Well, the orthopedic surgeon said, it's really on the border as to whether or not these fractures require surgery. But in my opinion, I think she does need surgery. Well, if it was that much of a borderline call, certainly a hormone replacement therapy would have helped her avoid that bone fracture and all of the cost and pain and debilitation associated with that long, lengthy physical therapy. And that's just my mom. And I'm putting these pieces together from what I've done for my research. Think about the 50 plus million women. An 80-year-old woman has a 1 in 3 chance of having a hip fracture, and a quarter of women die within a year of a hip fracture. So these are real issues that are never talked about.
Since President Trump was sworn in, his administration has made enormous progress at a breakneck pace. But don't forget, while they're moving mountains for the good of the nation, you've got your own personal savings to worry about. And one of the best ways to look after your savings is through diversification, particularly with gold, like from Birch Gold Group. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has increased by 40%. OMG. Central banks continue to bolster demand for gold by buying in record quantities. Global instability and tension is high, and Birch Gold makes owning physical gold extremely easy. Easily convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, or buy some to store in your home safe. Just text MK to the number 989898 and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of your savings today. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.